Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Top Coin, where we dive deep into the world of coins, currency, and hidden treasures that might be lying around in your very own home. You might want to check your piggy bank, your old wallet, or that dusty coin jar in your kitchen cabinet, because today, we're talking about a coin that millions of people overlook every single day, the 1980 United States 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln cent. But here's the kicker. This little copper beauty might just be worth a lot more than face value. In some cases, it could even fetch you hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the condition, rarity, and era features. So grab your cup of coffee, sit back, and get ready to learn everything there is to know about the 1980 penny, from its fascinating history, design features, metal composition, mint mark secrets, and shocking auction sales, to how you can tell if your coin is the rare one worth real money. Let's get started. The year was 1980. The United States was in a time of economic transition. Inflation was up, and the value of the dollar was down. But amidst all the political and economic changes, the U.S. Mint was still hard at work producing billions of coins for everyday use. And that included the humble penny, a coin that many of us today might just toss aside or forget about. But not all 1980 pennies were created equal. And not all of them are just worth 1 cent. The story of the 1980 1-cent coin begins with the legacy of one of the most iconic American presidents, Abraham Lincoln. His image had been on the penny since 1909, marking the centennial of his birth. The coin was originally designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials, VDB, you can still find on modern Lincoln cents, right near the bottom of Lincoln's shoulder on the obverse side. By 1980, the Lincoln cent had already been through a few changes. It was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that classic reddish-brown color. But just 2 years later, in 1982, everything would change. The price of copper had skyrocketed, and the mint had to switch to a cheaper material, zinc with a thin copper plating. So, the 1980 penny was among the last of its kind, solid copper coins. That alone makes it more collectible than the newer pennies. But wait, there's more. Mint locations and varieties. In 1980, the U.S. Mint struck Lincoln cents at 3 major facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a small d under the date; San Francisco, used primarily for proof coins, marked with an S. Each of these mints produced coins with slightly different characteristics, and collectors pay close attention to these details. For example, a 1980 penny in perfect uncirculated condition might be worth much more than one in average condition. The same goes for the Philadelphia version. But the real prize? The 1980 S-proof penny. These coins were made using special dies and polished planchets to create stunning mirror-like surfaces. If you happen to come across one of these in pristine condition, especially with the original government packaging, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But here's where things get even more interesting and valuable. Now let's talk about the real moneymakers, era coins. In 1980, just like any other year, mistakes happened at the mint. And collectors absolutely love these mistakes. Why? Because they're rare. And rarity drives value. Here are a few key error types that you should be looking for in your 1980 pennies. Double die obverse, DDO. This occurs when the coin die strikes the coin twice with a slight shift, resulting in visible doubling of the date, lettering like Liberty or In God We Trust. A 1980 penny with a clear DDO can fetch anywhere from $100 to over $1,000 depending on its clarity and condition. Off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not perfectly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing. A 1980 penny struck 10 to 20% off-center can sell for $50 to $200 or more. BIE error. A small die break between the B and E in Liberty creates what looks like the word BIE. It's a popular variety among Lincoln cent collectors. These coins may sell for $10 to $50, especially if the break is bold and the coin is in good shape. Clipped planchet. Sometimes a coin planchet gets clipped during the production process. If your 1980 penny is missing a clean chunk from the edge, and it's a true mint error, it could be worth $30 to several $100s, again depending on the severity and condition. Part 4. Market value. What are 1980 pennies worth today? Now let's talk real numbers. What is a 1980 penny actually worth today on the market? Let's break it down. A circulated 1980 penny in average condition is typically worth its weight in copper, around 2 to 3 cents, depending on the market price of copper. A mint state, MS65 plus, coin from Philadelphia or Denver can be worth $1 to $5. But that number can shoot up with grading, and I appeal. A proof 1980s penny in perfect condition might go for $5 to $20. Or more if it's graded PR69 DCM or PR70. A 1980 penny with a rare error, like a strong double die, has sold at auction for over $1,200, and that's just what's been officially sold. Many rare error coins are still out there in circulation, sitting in jars, drawers, or under car seats, completely unnoticed. Here's how you can check if your 1980 penny is valuable. Look closely at the date and lettering under strong light or with a magnifier. Check for any doubling on the words or numbers. Inspect the edges. Does anything look clipped, off-center, or misaligned? Weigh the coin. A genuine 1980 copper penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's lighter, it could be a modern zinc penny mistakenly struck with an old die, which is another collectible anomaly. Get it graded. If you think your coin is rare or in extremely good condition, consider submitting it to professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. A certified coin often commands a much higher price on the market. So, is it worth checking your 1980 pennies? Absolutely. While not every 1-cent coin from 1980 will make you rich, the odds are better than you think. Especially if you enjoy coin collecting, metal detecting, treasure hunting, or just the thrill of the search, this tiny coin from 1980 could open the door to a fascinating hobby, or maybe even a big payday. Remember, many of the most valuable coins were found by ordinary people like you and me, who just took the time to look a little closer. So next time you find a penny on the ground, pick it up. Check the date. Inspect it. You never know. That 1981-cent coin might just be a hidden treasure. Have you ever picked up a simple penny, just lying there on the ground or rattling in your pocket, and wondered, could this be worth more than 1 cent? What if I told you that a single 1985 Lincoln penny, the same one that many people ignore every day, might be worth much, much more than you ever imagined? That's right. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the fascinating history, hidden secrets, and current market value of the 1985 1-cent coin from the United States of America. And trust me, by the time we're done, you'll be looking at your pocket change with brand new eyes. Let's rewind the clock back to the year 1985. Ronald Reagan was president, the Cold War was still going strong, and Michael Jordan was just starting to make waves in the NBA. It was a time of change, innovation, and transformation. And in the heart of this exciting era, the United States Mint continued its tradition of producing the humble yet historic 1-cent coin, the Lincoln penny. Now, the Lincoln cent was first introduced all the way back in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real person. The obverse side shows Lincoln's iconic profile, and the reverse, at least up until 1958, featured 2 wheat ears, hence the nickname, Wheat Penny. But in 1959, the reverse design was changed to the Lincoln Memorial in celebration of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. And by the time we reached 1985, the penny was still sporting the same design, Lincoln's profile on the front and the memorial on the back. What makes the 1985 penny different, though, isn't just its look. It's what's on the inside, how it was made, and the small details that could make it extremely valuable today. Here's where things get really interesting. If you hold a 1985 penny in your hand, it feels just like any other. But it's not quite the same as older pennies. In fact, starting in 1982, the U.S. Mint made a major change. They switched the composition of the penny from 95% copper and 5% zinc to mostly zinc with a thin copper plating. That means the 1985 penny is actually 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper on the outside, Why the change? It all came down to cost. Copper was getting expensive, and the mint wanted to save money. So, if you find a 1985 penny today, chances are it's one of the new copper-plated zinc versions. But, and this is a big but, there are rumors and rare examples of some 1985 pennies being struck using the old copper alloy. These mistakes or transitional errors could be worth serious money if authenticated. So how much could a 1985 penny really be worth? Let's break it down. Most 1985 pennies that you find in circulation today are common and may only be worth 1 cent, or a couple of cents if in great condition. However, certain features can dramatically increase their value. Mint mark differences. 1985 pennies were minted at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, Denver pennies carry a D, and San Francisco coins, usually proof coins, have an S. Proof coins in perfect condition can be worth several dollars. High-grade coins. A 1985 penny that's been graded MS67 or higher by a professional grading service can fetch between $30 and $150 or more, depending on demand and condition. Double die errors. Now this is where the money starts to flow. Some 1985 pennies may have doubling errors, especially visible in the lettering or the date. If you spot one, it's time to get it professionally appraised. Off-center strikes and die breaks. These kinds of minting errors can make your penny unique, and uniqueness drives up the value. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and other production flaws can increase a coin's worth to $100 or more. Transitional metal errors. Remember we talked about copper versus zinc? If somehow a 1985 penny was accidentally made using the old 95% copper composition, it would be incredibly rare. Such a find could be worth hundreds, potentially even thousands of dollars if authenticated by a trusted grading company. Want to know if your penny is rare? Here's what to look for. Start with a magnet. Zinc is not magnetic, but this is a quick test to eliminate any steel-based fakes. Weigh it. A zinc 1985 penny weighs 2.5 grams, but if your penny weighs closer to 3.1 grams, you might have a copper one, and that's exciting. Look closely at the date, letters, and Lincoln's profile. Any unusual doubling or warping could indicate a valuable error. Use a coin loop or magnifier and check details on the Liberty text and the "In God We Trust" motto. These are common spots for doubling. If it looks strange, don't clean it. Cleaning a rare coin can actually reduce its value. Leave it as is and get it professionally checked. As of this year, 2025, the market for collectible coins is hotter than ever. Coin collecting has seen a massive boom, thanks to viral videos, online auction platforms, and social media. People are rediscovering the value hidden in their change jars. Recent online auctions have shown high-grade 1985 pennies selling for upwards of $200. A rare error penny, with off-center strike or doubling, has even hit over $1,000 in some cases. And if a true copper-based 1985 penny appears and is verified? That could go for several $1,000s, easily. So next time you get change at the store, or you're digging through that old coin jar in your kitchen drawer, take a closer look. You could be sitting on a small fortune disguised as a simple cent. So there you have it, the surprising truth behind the 1985 1-cent coin. From historical origins to rare minting mistakes, from metal composition to modern-day market value, this little coin packs a massive punch. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe for more rare coin breakdowns, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a hidden gem in your pocket change. Have you ever held a small coin in your hand, a simple, copper-colored penny, and wondered, could this be worth more than its face value? Could this tiny piece of metal actually hide a small fortune? Today, we uncover the secrets behind a seemingly ordinary coin, the 1995 United States 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, this little coin could be worth thousands of dollars to the right collector. Stick with us, because what we're about to reveal might just have you checking your coin jar, your piggy bank, even the bottom of your couch cushions. This is the fascinating story of the 1995 penny, A coin that's not just a piece of pocket change, but a piece of American history, numismatic mystery. And collectors gold.to understand why the 1995 penny has become such a coveted item among collectors. We need to start with its roots. The Lincoln cent was first minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first regular-issue American coin to feature a real person, and who better than Honest Abe himself? Over the decades, this 1-cent coin has seen several changes in design, metal composition, and minting errors. And that's exactly where our 1995 penny story gets interesting. The 1995 penny was produced by both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, with billions, yes, billions, of coins struck that year. At first glance, nothing about the 1995 cent seems special. It features the familiar Lincoln bust on the obverse, with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The composition is 97.5% zinc and just 2.5% copper, part of a cost-saving measure introduced in the 1980s. But hidden among the ordinary lies a rare treasure, a minting error that created one of the most sought-after pennies of the modern age, the 1995 double-die obverse. You heard that right. The double-die variety of the 1995 Lincoln cent shows noticeable doubling in key parts of the coin, most clearly in the words Liberty and In God We Trust. This isn't just wear and tear or optical illusion. This is a genuine die error, caused when the die used to strike the coin received a second, misaligned impression during its creation. The result? A dramatic doubling effect that's visible to the naked eye. Now here's where it gets exciting. While most 1995 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, the 1995 double-die obverse has sold for hundreds, even thousands, of dollars, depending on its condition. Let's talk numbers. A circulated 1995 double-die penny can sell for anywhere from $20 to $100. But if you're lucky enough to find one in mint state condition, that means it has not been used in circulation and still shines like it just left the mint. The value skyrockets. Coins graded MS65 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC have sold for $500 to $1,500. And the finest known examples? They've fetched up to $3,000 or more at major coin auctions. That's right. A single penny worth thousands of dollars. So, how can you find out if your 1995 penny is one of the rare and valuable ones? It's simple. All you need is a magnifying glass or a coin loop, and a good light source. Examine the word Liberty and the phrase In God We Trust on the front of the coin. If you see a ghost-like doubling of the letters, especially in Liberty, you might have hit the jackpot. But be careful, many fake double dies exist. Always verify with a professional grading service before celebrating. Now let's talk about the grading scale. Numismatists, that's the fancy name for coin collectors, use a 70-point scale to grade coins. A grade of MS60 means the coin is uncirculated but has noticeable marks, while MS70 is a perfect coin with no flaws at all. For the 1995 double-die penny, coins in MS65 to MS68 are considered investment grade. Collectors and investors alike compete for these high-quality examples, making them rise in value year after year. And here's the kicker. The market for era coins, especially those from the modern era, is hotter than ever. As more people enter the world of coin collecting, rare varieties like the 1995 double die become harder to find and more expensive to buy. Prices have steadily increased over the past 10 years, and experts believe the trend will continue, especially as high-grade examples disappear into private collections. So the next time you get change at the grocery store, take a second look. That little brown coin might not just be a penny, it might be your ticket to a small fortune, because in the world of coin collecting, every piece tells a story. And some, like the 1995 1-cent coin, have a story that's worth far more than just 1 cent. What's in your pocket? Maybe it's just loose change. Or maybe, just maybe, it's a treasure waiting to be discovered. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something new. Subscribe for more fascinating stories from the world of numismatics, and leave a comment if you've ever found a rare coin. Who knows? You might be holding history. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of coins, and not just any coin, We're talking about a coin that you've probably seen countless times, maybe even tossed in a tip jar or left in your car's cup holder. But what if I told you that some of these seemingly ordinary coins could actually be worth a small fortune? That's right. Today, we're unlocking the secrets behind the 2000 United States 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny. Don't blink, because you might be sitting on a coin that's worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Let's rewind the clock to the year 2000. The world was buzzing with the excitement and uncertainty of a brand new millennium. Y2K fears had just passed, the internet was booming, and amidst all that, the United States Mint quietly struck millions of 1-cent coins featuring one of the most iconic faces in American history, Abraham Lincoln. The 2000 Lincoln penny continued a legacy that began back in 1909, when the very first Lincoln cent was issued to commemorate the 100th birthday of the 16th President of the United States. The obverse side, or front, of the coin features a right-facing profile of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, a design that stood the test of time for over a century. On the reverse, we see the famous Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design created by Frank Gasparo. This reverse design was introduced in 1959, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and remained in use until 2008. So yes, the year 2000 penny falls right into that historic range, carrying decades of legacy in its coppery shell. Now, let's talk about what this coin is actually made of. While older Lincoln cents were made from 95% copper, by the year 2000, things had changed. To save on costs, the Mint switched the composition in 1982. The 2000 penny is mostly made of zinc, about 97.5%. with just a thin copper plating of 2.5%. So, while it still looks like a copper coin, it's technically a zinc-based cent. There are 3 main mint marks to look out for. No mint mark. This means it was minted in Philadelphia. D mint mark, Denver Mint. S mint mark, San Francisco Mint, typically proof coins. Each mint has its own story, and some rare errors and variations from these mints can fetch a very high price in the collector's market. Here's where it gets exciting. The real value in the 2000 penny lies not in the regular, worn-down coins you find in pocket change, but in rare varieties and minting errors that happen during production. These are the hidden gems that coin collectors are hunting for. Let's take a closer look at some of these incredibly valuable variations. Wide AM reverse, Philadelphia Mint only. This is the most famous variation of the 2000 penny. On the reverse side of the coin, look closely at the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America. On regular coins, these letters are almost touching, but on the wide AM variety, there's a noticeable space between them. It's a subtle difference, but coin experts can spot it immediately. This error happened when the Mint accidentally used a proof reverse die on business strike coins. It's a rare mistake, and collectors are willing to pay serious cash for a clean example. A 2000 wide AM penny in mint condition has sold for as much as $500 to $1,000, and even circulated ones can sell for $30 to $100, depending on their grade. Doubled die errors. Another highly valuable variety is the doubled die. This happens when the coin die is improperly manufactured, causing the design elements to appear doubled. Look carefully at Lincoln's eye, his bow tie, or the inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust. Any signs of doubling can skyrocket the value of your coin. While these are harder to find, if you come across one, a high-grade double die penny from 2000 could bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Off-center strikes. Coins that are struck off-center are another kind of mint error that collectors love. If a 2000 penny is significantly misaligned, especially if the date is still visible, it can easily fetch $50 to $200 depending on how off-center it is and the overall condition. BIE errors. This quirky error appears as a small raised line between the letters B and E in the word Liberty, making it look like it spells Liberty. These coins are fun to find and usually sell for $10 to $50 depending on the clarity and condition. So, how can you tell if your 2000 penny is worth more than 1 cent? Here's what to do. Inspect the reverse. Check for the wide AM. A magnifying glass or even a macro phone camera can help. Look for doubling. Carefully examine the lettering and Lincoln's features. Check for alignment. Is the coin centered properly? Any off-center strikes could be valuable. Mint mark, S-mint coins are proofs and rarely circulate, but check for D and P varieties with errors. Use a coin grading guide. Sites like PCGS or NGC can help you compare your coin's condition and value. Now for the big question. What are these coins selling for right now? A 2000 wide AM penny in uncirculated condition can fetch upwards of $500 or more. Proof coins with pristine surfaces and no blemishes, especially with the S-mint mark, can sell for $10 to $50. Rare double dies and off-center errors have sold for $200 to over $1,000, depending on their grade and demand. Collectors and dealers are always on the lookout, and the market is constantly shifting based on demand, metal prices, and rarity. So it's always a good idea to stay updated on coin auction sites, watch listings on platforms like eBay, Heritage Auctions, or Great Collections, and even get your coin professionally graded if you suspect it could be something special. So the next time you're cleaning out your change jar, your wallet, or that old piggy bank from childhood, take a moment and check those pennies. That small, copper-colored coin from the year 2000 might not just be spare change, it could be a valuable piece of history hiding in plain sight. Who knew that a humble 1-cent coin could turn out to be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? If you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare pennies, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more coin treasure hunts, and leave a comment below. Have you ever found a rare penny? Let's talk coins in the comments. Today, we're diving deep into a small coin with a big story. That's right, we're talking about the 2005 United States 1-cent coin, the humble Lincoln penny that could be worth a whole lot more than just a single cent. You might want to check your old coin jars after this video, because you could be sitting on a miniature gold mine. At first glance, it might seem like just another penny, copper in color, Abraham Lincoln's familiar face on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But dig deeper, and you'll discover that some of these 2005 1-cent coins are rare, valuable, and sought after by collectors all across the globe. Let's rewind for just a moment. The Lincoln cent made its debut in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Over the decades, the penny has undergone numerous changes, from the wheat ears on the reverse in its early years, to the Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959, which stayed until 2008. Now, the year 2005 is interesting for a few reasons. It sits at the tail end of the Memorial Cent series and just before the monumental changes that came with the 2009 bicentennial designs. That means some of these 2005 pennies have become sleeper hits, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. You might be wondering, why would a modern-looking coin from 2005 be worth anything more than face value? The answer lies in a few powerful words: mint errors, varieties, condition, and scarcity. Let's break that down. First up, mint errors. Some 2005 pennies were struck with mistakes at the US Mint. These are not fakes. These are authentic coins that came off the production line with a twist. We're talking about double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and even die cracks. Error coins are incredibly collectible, and depending on the type and visibility of the error, some 2005 pennies have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One of the most talked about errors from 2005 is the double die reverse, where the details on the Lincoln Memorial appear slightly doubled. These can be subtle but valuable, and if you have a sharp eye or a magnifying glass, you might just find one. Then we have varieties, which are intentional or unintentional differences that occur during minting. For example, some 2005 pennies show unusual die wear, metal stretching, or unique luster that makes them stand out. Always pay attention to the little letter under the ear. That's the mint mark, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and no mark also indicates Philadelphia in most cases for cents. Some of the most valuable 2005 pennies were minted in Denver and have been found with rare errors. A pristine 2005 D penny in MS67 or higher condition, that's mint state, uncirculated, can fetch serious money at auctions. In fact, some examples graded by top agencies like PCGS or NGC have sold for up to $300 or more depending on rarity and eye appeal. So how can you tell if you're sitting on a valuable 2005 cent? Here's what to look for. First, examine the coin's surface. Is there doubling on the words United States of America or 1 cent? Does the Lincoln memorial look slightly blurred or duplicated? Check Lincoln's eyes, the steps on the memorial, and the edges for signs of doubling. Next, look for off-center strikes, where the coin's design is pushed toward one side. The more off-center, the more valuable, especially if the date is still fully visible. Then, examine the coin's luster and color. Brilliant red uncirculated pennies are worth more than brown or dull ones. A rich copper tone with nowhere can significantly increase value. And finally, check for any unusual marks, cracks, or raised lines. These can indicate a die crack or other rare error. Now for the real treasure chest, the current market value. While most circulated 2005 pennies are only worth a cent, higher grade examples and error coins are worth anywhere from $5 to over $1,000 depending on rarity and demand. As of this year, auctions and sales show that collectors are paying top dollar for high quality and rare 2005 pennies. For example, a 2005 D penny graded MS67 red sold for $340 at heritage auctions. An off-center 2005 error penny fetched $150 on eBay. Double die reverse pennies in excellent condition have gone for $60 to $200, depending on grade and demand. If you think you found a valuable 2005 penny, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can ruin its value instantly. Instead, place it in a soft holder or coin flip and get it graded by a professional service. To sell, consider reaching out to reputable coin dealers, attending coin shows, or listing your coin on auction platforms like Heritage Auctions or eBay. Just make sure you have clear photos, good descriptions, and, if possible, certification. So there you have it, a deep dive into the fascinating world of the 2005 United States 1-cent coin. What might seem like a simple piece of pocket change could actually be a window into history and a ticket to some unexpected cash. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just stumbled upon this video by chance, check your pennies. Look closely. That little copper coin could be the start of an incredible journey. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more treasure hunting tips, and ring the bell so you never miss a drop of coin knowledge. Got a cool coin? Drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your story.